I am not a fan of those plain old run-of-the-mill dinner rolls, but Hawaiian rolls? Now that's a whole other deal. Hi, I'm Deb, and this is my kitchen. Today, I'm making a home version of King's Hawaiian rolls that is off the charts good. Plus, I'll show you two different ways to put it all together so that if you don't happen to own a stand mixer, it's okay. You can still make these. Are you ready? Because the kitchen is now open. Come on in. Let's cook up something good.
This recipe makes 24 rolls, but today I'm dividing the ingredients in half so I can show two different methods of preparing the dough. For my home-baked Hawaiian rolls, the ingredients I'll be using are 2 cups of warm pineapple juice, 3/4 cup of white sugar, 2 tablespoons of instant dry yeast, 2 tablespoons of avocado oil, or you may use vegetable oil, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of ground dried ginger, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 3 eggs, 6 cups of bread flour, butter flavor cooking spray, and approximately 4 tablespoons of butter melted.
First, I need to activate my yeast so it can do its yeasty thing later and make my rolls light and fluffy. And it's easy to do. I just keep it warm and well fed with sugar and pineapple juice.
I've heated my pineapple juice in the microwave so that it's very warm but not hot. I add the pineapple juice and sugar in my mixing bowl and stir them together. Next, I sprinkle my instant yeast over the top of the liquid and allow it to sit for at least 10 minutes. I want to make sure all my yeast is activated and there's no dry yeast like this sitting on the top. Once the bubbles and foam have formed, it's time to mix up my dough. I attach the dough hook and then add the oil, eggs, salt, ginger, and vanilla and mix on low until all of the ingredients are all incorporated. Then I add 1 cup of flour at a time and mix until it's fully incorporated before I add the next cup. I continue adding 1 cup at a time until all of the flour has been mixed in. Next, it's time to knead the dough, which is super easy with a stand mixer. I just set it on low and allow it to knead the dough for me for 3 minutes. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can make these the old-fashioned way using a large bowl. I follow the same initial steps. I stir together my warm pineapple juice and sugar, sprinkle my instant yeast over the top, and allow it to sit for at least 10 minutes. You might notice this unique tool I'm using. It's called a Danish whisk, and it's probably the best tool for mixing dough by hand. Again, once the bubbles and foam have formed, it's time to mix up my dough. I add my ingredients, excluding the flour, just as before, and use my whisk to stir until all my ingredients are incorporated. Just as before, I add the flour 1 cup at a time and mix until it's fully incorporated before adding the next cup. You might need a little elbow grease here, but I still think that Danish whisk is the best tool for the job. I continue until all of the flour has been added. Kneading by hand takes some work, but the results are amazing and you don't have to shell out $400 plus for a stand mixer. I turn out my dough onto a lightly floured surface and begin to fold the dough in on itself and push using the heels of my hands. I turn it a quarter turn and repeat and continue for 10 minutes, adding small amounts of flour if the dough gets sticky.
Okay, the hard part is over. Now we're going to shape our rolls and allow the yeast to do its magic before we put our rolls in to bake. Moving forward, everything applies equally regardless of how we made our dough.
I spray or grease 2 9x13 baking pans. I begin to cut off small pieces and form 24 2 to 3 inch balls of dough. These go into my pans about a ½ inch apart. Then I cover them with a light cloth and allow them to rise for about 30 minutes in a warm spot, free from draft. You can use a slightly warmed oven, right around 80 degrees, or even a sunny spot on the counter until they have doubled in size. The last thing I do is brush my rolls with melted butter to keep them soft, give them a rich flavor, and a nice golden brown top. Now they're off to bake at 350 degrees for about 24 minutes. I bake mine for 12 minutes and then rotate them 180 degrees in the oven for another 12 minutes. My rolls are out of the oven and I'm giving them a finishing touch with one more light brushing of melted butter. This will help to keep them soft and, of course, add to the richness of flavor. Now let's take a look at our results.
Here's our finished product. They're soft, tender, and nicely browned. I like these better than the rolls you get at the market. They'll bring your family to the dinner table where family is built. Because if you feed them these, they will come. I'm going to try some of this cinnamon honey butter. Ooh. Oh, oh, it's so good. I was like, make it want to dance good.